Hey there, dear viewers. Welcome to Obsessed with Werewolves. I'm so glad you're here because I know you, like me, have a passion for all things werewolf. From their captivating tales to their mysterious nature, we're going to explore it all. So, let's dive right in and satisfy our obsession together. Hey there, dear viewers. Welcome to Obsessed with Werewolves. I'm so glad you're here because I know you, like me, have a passion for all things werewolf. From their captivating tales to their mysterious nature, we're going to explore it all. So let's dive right in and satisfy our obsession together. New acquaintances. So how did you get here? Emily asks me and I tell her the whole story. Wow. You are an elemental. They all exclaim at the same time. Yeah. What about you guys? Are your families from the pack? I try to change the subject. Yeah, we three are friends from childhood. Our fathers are among the high-ranked wolves in the pack, Sandra says proudly and I nod. That's fantastic. Then why do you guys work here? Oh, those are Alpha's orders. He wants the entire pack to be active. We train in the morning and then help in the pack house's chores. We are not allowed to train full-time as we're still not 20 yet. She explains and I nod. Oh, so he doesn't allow anyone less than 20 years to go for pack fights to then. I question and they nod. Werewolf x Xalvador is very protective, especially for women and children. Sandra says and Fiona nudges at me. I shudder off in our conversation and there as people start to arrive for dinner. I look at Xalvador at dinner and imagine him being protective of women and kids. He looks at me and I turn my head away so fast. It actually hurts. Axel, Liam meet me in my office after dinner. He commands and the beta and Liam nod. The rest of the dinner passes by quietly and I am the first one to finish my food. I get up and feel Xalvador's eyes on me till I exit the room. I go to the back of the house and stretch out. It's empty as everyone is in the dining room. I replay the events of the day in my head, feeling confused than I was before. I train for about an hour and a half and then go back in the house utterly tired. As I walk past Xalvador's office, I hear voices. They are becoming more and more confident every day. We have to put an end to this. We will leave for the attack tomorrow night. Call the unit heads and brief them. I hear Xalvador's gruff voice. Okay, Alpha. What's the plan? How are we going to attack? Beta asks next. My sources tell me the southwest border of their land is the most vulnerable. Rough, uneven and covered with a thick forest. That will be our entry point. Remember, our aim is to make their Alpha surrender. Take care no innocent lives are lost. Xalvador says and my stomach flutters again. I clench my eyes to cease the feeling and listen on. I wonder who are they talking about. But Alpha. The pack was one of most cowardly ones. I wonder what led to their sudden courage. That two against a pack like ours. Axel says, the first thing that comes to mind is that they might have made allies. Strong allies. They have got back up and that means we need to be extra careful. Xalvador concludes in a confident tone and I decide to walk away. I don't want them to think I was eavesdropping on them. I settle in Xalvador's room and sit by the window. I imagine leaving for wherever Xalvador is planning to. And then I imagine a pack fight. That would be the first time I will fight for anyone apart from me. You should have come inside. Xalvador's voice comes suddenly from behind me. I jump slightly, startled. He knows again. I don't know what you mean. I play dumb. Yes, you do. Outside the office. He states and I curse the mate bond. I wasn't eavesdropping or anything. I was just passing by and heard you guys talking. I say in my defense and he nods. I never accused you of anything, did I? He says as he removes his shirt. I widen my eyes as I yet again marvel at what an amazing body he has. I experience the full pull of the mate bond and every nerve in my body is sizzling. I quickly look away only to catch his smug smirk. I glare at him and get under the covers on the bed and squint my eyes close. I feel sleepy in a short while due to the training. As I drift into sleep, I feel a strong arm surrounds my stomach and I'm pulled into a hard body. I need to stop this cuddling. I mentally remind myself in an almost dozed-off state. I'll do that tomorrow. I then add. When morning comes, I wake up after I hear the door close behind Xalvador. I already know what I am going to do for the day. I shower, get dressed from the new wardrobe Xalvador arranged for me, and hop down to the kitchen. I just grab an apple and then leave the pack house, hoping I don't bump into the Alpha or Liam. I recall the path Xalvador took me through yesterday and finally reached the residential area. I walk to the last house, unsure of why I really came here. I knock the door and there is no reply. I knock again and then stand there with my fingers crossed. The door finally creaks open and I see the small girl Mariah, standing there holding hands with Tyler. I smile and kneel down and their eyes widen. Luna. Mariah gasps and I quickly shake my head. You don't have to call me Luna. My name is Arabella. You can call me that. I say and she shakes her head. We can't. Mama always taught us to respect the Alpha and the Luna, she says with a sad, timid expression and my heart clenches in pain. Please come in, Mariah says politely and I enter. She pulls out the only small stool for me and gestures for me to sit. As I take a seat, I realize how mature she acts. Life showed her things no 7-year-old should see. I see grace, responsibility and maturity in her every action. Tyler just follows her around and they both sit. So what do you both do here all day? I ask and Tyler speaks after some hesitation. We help Nana with her cooking work and then sometimes she takes us for a walk. We don't really like to go but Nana insists that we are safe. Tyler says in such an innocent tone, I can't help but feel their pain. I know that the worst feeling in this world is feeling unprotected and alone. If I think life did bad to me, these kids had it worst. Okay, I have got you guys something. I say and retrieve 2 chocolate bars from my back pocket. I extend my hand with a smile and Tyler is about to jump for it, but Mariah stops him. I look into her eyes, trying to convey that I am not going to hurt them. She seems to understand and with cautious steps, moves towards me. She takes the bars from my hand and I wait patiently. They both eat the bar, savoring it till the last bite and I feel content. I spend an hour there, trying to make small talks when I finally feel Mariah letting go her tough, protective composure. Not wanting to force myself upon them, I then decide to leave. As I'm leaving, an old lady enters the house. Her eyes widen and she immediately throws a protective glance at the children. I am about to assure her when Tyler speaks. Nana, this is our Luna. We told you Alpha Xalvador came here with her yesterday. She gave us chocolate bars. He says enthusiastically and the lady immediately looks at me. I seek your apologies, Luna. I didn't know you were, she begins, but I cut her off. Please don't call me Luna, ma'am. I just came here to meet Mariah and Tyler and I'm glad I got to meet the woman who looks after them selflessly. I say with respect and her eyes soften. The moon never makes wrong choices. She says with a smile and pats my shoulder. Not understanding her, I take my leave. Just as I reach a few distance from the house, a huge wolf pounces on me. Having quick reflexes, I dodge him but his paws scratch my right arm. I get up, taking a defensive stance and realize there are 8 of them surrounding me. Shit. Threats I suddenly hear a thunderous growl and the wolves stiffen. They release me, and with one last glare into my eyes, they run away. At a distance I see them running, but after that, they just seem to disappear. I lay limply on the ground, my eyes squinting due to the light. I feel a shadow looming over, and I open my eyes to see Xalvador's huge wolf standing there. His eyes are full black, and I can feel the anger radiating off him. He steps closer, and I whimper as his paw nail scratches my injured side flea. He growls, and immediately someone comes forward and drops clothes at his feet. He then mind links me. "Shift," he orders. "No, I need to be alone for that," I say back weakly, and he snarls at me. "Arabella, shift. Right now." He barks even louder, and Fiona shivers in submission. "No, Xalvador. I am not shifting until you leave me alone," I say back fiercely, and he growls in annoyance but leaves nevertheless. I smile in victory and trot to a nearby house's side. I shift and put on the clothes available. I then walk to the front near Xalvador's wolf. There are bruises all over my body, and Xalvador's entire wolf form shakes with anger as he takes in my condition. "How dare you come here without my knowledge?" He barks with fury, and I can't help but feel angry and melt at the same time at his possessiveness and concern. "You don't tell me," I retort, and he takes a step forward. "I am your alpha and your mate. So I do have power over you," he snaps angrily. "You aren't either my alpha or have I accepted you as my mate, so stop bossing around." I sit back in equal fury. He jaw clenches and his growls, looking around. He is about to say something when an unfamiliar voice cuts him. "You are her." I turn to see an old man walking towards me, limping slightly and his eyes fixed on me. I frown in confusion, and Xalvador growls slightly as if to avert the old guy's eye from me. But the old man doesn't budge. "There is no doubt. You are her," he says in dazed manner and walks away, lost in thought. A confused silence falls between me and Xalvador, but he snaps out of it sooner. "We are leaving," he commands and stoops down, hoisting me in his arms. I glare and wiggle my legs to make him put me down, but he doesn't listen. I stomp my fists on his shoulders and sighs in frustration. I glare at him as he starts walking, again wiggle my body, which makes me whimper in pain. "Arabella, don't," he says sternly, staring down at me, and I stop. As we walk away from the village, I see a scared Tyler and Amelia come out and smile weakly at me. I blink my eyes and an "no problem" gesture, and their figures fade as Xalvador picks up speed. Xalvador rests me softly on his bed and immediately summons a lady, which I assume is the pack doctor. She examines my wounds and checks something by wrapping a cloth-like thing around my arm. The wounds are deep but not serious damage. They will heal quickly, she says, and Xalvador nods in what I would call as think as relief. She then puts some medicines beside the bed and then gets up to depart. "Take care, Luna," she says as she closes the door, and cringe at the address. Xalvador catches that and his eyes darken slightly. He seems like he is about to snap, but holds it and then leaves the room, slamming the door slightly. I sigh and close my eyes, letting the tiredness wash over me. When I wake up next, I find Emily sitting beside me. I am confused as I sit up and she stands surprised. "I am sorry, Luna. I was just here to tell you that Alpha Xalvador wants to see you," she says politely. "Thanks, Emily. And you don't have to call me Luna, please," I say, and she nods, smiles, and then leaves the room. I get up feeling my sides ache and fix my hair. I reach Xalvador's office, and again, before I can knock, his voice commands me to come inside. I shake my head in annoyance at the powers of the bond and enter. As I stand before him, his eyes sweep over my body, stopping at the scars and wounds. His stare makes me feel all giddy and tingly, but I know it's just the effect of the mate bond. His then motions for me to sit, and I take a chair. "Why did you go there?" He asks and I shrug. Because I wanted to. Well, he doesn't like my reply though. And you couldn't ask me first. He asks bewildered and I shake my head. I am not in your pack with my own wish and you are not my alpha. If you are forcing me to stay here, I still will hold on to my free will, I retort sternly. His face hardens as if he can't accept my words. This isn't over. But for now, I need you to tell me what exactly happened. He demands. Gosh, does this guy know about the existence of a word called polite? I met the kids and then just as I started to return, a huge wolf pounced at me. I dodged, but he managed to scratch my arms. Then when I turned around, I saw 8 of them surrounding me. I say it simple and untangled and his eyes avert to my bruised arm. He then begins to think something and I ponder if I should ask him the next question or not. So who do you think were those people? I ask cautiously. I am not sure, but Elizabeth will tell me. I already sent her a word that I need her. He says and the mate bond jitters. Elizabeth, a girl. That's all Aficionados can feel and which directly affects me. Jealousy sweeps over my body and I try to hold back those feelings. But even then, without even realizing, I ask him, who's Elizabeth? Even though I have no part in it, my tone comes out as jealous and accusing. Xalvador senses this and I see a slight smirk from on his face. I huff inwardly and glare at Aficionados. She smiles sheepishly and curls into a ball. Wow, talk about having a half and a best friend. Why, she is my old friend. A very trusted and smart and intelligent and beautiful friend. I really adore her. Xalvador says slowly on purpose, surely enjoying my angry and jealous expressions. So he likes another girl, huh? Good for me. I can get out of here then. It's not like I am attracted to him anyway. Yeah, right. Aficionados pops up and rolls her eyes. Shut up, Aficionados. I snap and cut off the link. I look at Xalvador to find him smirking smugly at my inner conflict. I glare and get off the chair. I don't care who she is or what she does. I have other chores to attend to. I say with turning my neck to a side and start to leave. Oh really? Chores like what? Xalvador asks, sarcastically folding his arms. He is having way too much fun. Like thinking of ways to run from an obnoxious, arrogant and annoying man who has held me captive. I say, aware of the exact effect it will have. Xalvador's eyes show disappearance of his smugness and instead his eyes narrow in warning. I smile sweetly and leave the room, slamming the door behind me just like he did earlier. I am walking to Xalvador's room when I crash into someone. I look up to see it's Maisie with a shocked expression on her face. I am sorry. She mumbles lost and starts walking into another direction. Maisie, wait. I say and she turns around. Her face turns into that of a surprise as if she just realized she crashed into me. Oh, hello, Luna. I am really sorry. I didn't see you. She says hurriedly. That's okay. But are you fine? You look lost. I ask. Yeah, I'm totally good. She says with a fake smile and walks away. I just shrug in confusion and continue my journey to Xalvador's room. Elizabeth. The next day I wake up. There is a buzz in the entire pack house. As I pass the hallways dressed casually, there are happy gushes about a woman coming. Elizabeth. It's like the entire pack is happy that she is coming. She sure is quite popular. I wonder how charming and pretty she is to captivate almost everyone's attention. I walk dazed to the front door where I find Xalvador. Liam and Beta Axel stand with a lot of other wolves in presumably the welcome of Elizabeth. Hey, I whisper as I stand next to Liam and he smiles his usual charming smile. Hey, Luna. He jokes and I narrow my eyes. Don't call me that. And what is all this welcome about? How great is this Elizabeth person? I ask. my tone a bit mocking. Ooh, someone's jealous. I am not jealous, I say defensively. I didn't take your name. He points out and I realize what I just did. I am about to say something when my arm is grabbed and I am pulled forward. I look up to find a frowning Xalvador. You should be standing beside me, he says in gruff tone, and Liam chuckles from behind. I ignore him and free my arm out of Xalvador's grasp and put some distance between us. He makes a disapproving sound in his throat and pulls me closer to him by the waist. I am about to oppose, but I spot a figurine approaching from the side. I realize it's the epic lady these people are waiting for, and Fiona is immediately on guard. Eyes, possessive lie fixed on Xalvador. As the figure nears the house, I try to think what must be so alluring about her to have captivated the alpha, beta, and the third in command of the largest pack in the world. As Elizabeth finally reaches her, I gasp. She is not at all what I expected. I expected a tall, slender, curvaceous, and pretty woman, but instead I find myself staring at an elderly lady. Oh, she's old. I can see she is perfectly in shape and her form is firm and confident. Her eyes are the prettiest shade and there is a welcoming gleam in her entire stance. She smiles warmly as she climbs up the stairs to Xalvador. He immediately goes forward and hugs her and then kisses her cheek. How are you, Elizabeth? It's been long. I am fine, and yes, in a while, she says, looking at him warmly. Xalvador nods in agreement and they both look towards me. And who is this Alpha Xalvador? She asks, and I find myself totally formally dressed to be having a first impression on such an obviously important person for this pack. Wait, when did I start caring about what people think of me? Especially an opinion coming from someone from this pack. I shake my head slightly as if to clear my thoughts when Xalvador answers. She is my mate. Arabella. He answers and she nods her head in perfectly proportioned elegance and style. I see. But as far as I recall, I have never seen her before, she says confidently. Does that mean she knows everyone in this pack? That isn't really possible, right? That's because she was a rogue. Xalvador answers, and I am surprised, as his tone told one of shame or disgust. It's almost as if he's proud to introduce me. But this doesn't seem to go well with Elizabeth. She frowns. Really? You were a rogue before you met him? She asks me, a bit bewildered. Her tone isn't accusing or disgust, FUL. It sounds like she is confused and doesn't believe me. Yes, ma'am. I answer politely and she smiles a small smile, though it doesn't reach her eye and her face mirrors confusion. Elizabeth, shall we go inside? Xalvador asks and she snaps out of her thoughts and nods with a smile. We all enter the house and everyone starts greeting Elizabeth. She hugs Bait Axel, Liam, and almost smiles at every other person in the room. A girl comes forward and picks up her small bag, probably escorting her to her room. Everyone disperses, chatting and smiling. Xalvador doesn't smile, but I can sense he is happy. His entire form is the most relaxed that I have ever seen, and his face looks content. I shrug and am about to leave when Xalvador stops me. Bella, wait. He calls out and I turn to him. Don't you want to know who Elizabeth is? He asks and I don't know how I am supposed to answer this question. Yeah. I finally say and he motions for me to follow him. Once we settle inside his office, he begins. Elizabeth is an old friend of mine, ever since I became the alpha of this pack. But that is not the only thing special about her. He says and stops deliberately, as if to create an air of suspense. She is blessed with the power of impeccable senses, which means that she can smell, hear, feel sharper and stronger than any other wolf in this world. And when I say strong, I mean strong. Wow, that's amazing. I whisper, not really understanding what this means. Bella. Elizabeth also has the sharpest memory that you can imagine. She, if glances once, can remember a face, a place, an object, or anything for centuries together. The same thing applies with smell. She has visited all packs that exist in the world, and which is why by just sniffing once, she can tell exactly which pack smell it is. He further explains, and I widen my eyes. Oh my God, that's incredible. I gasped softly, lost in thoughts. Xalvador nods, and now I understand how she must know everyone in this pack. Yes, in the wolves that attacked you, Mariah and Tyler. I have a suspicion they are from the Silverwoods pack, but just to confirm my suspicion, I have called Elizabeth here. Otherwise, she was out on one of her tours to learning and exploring things. He says, but if you already suspect it's the Silverwoods that attacked us, why do you need a confirmation? I mean, do you always call her before any attack? I ask. No, Bella. Of course not. The Silverwoods is a weak pack. They are our enemies but have never really attacked us before with this confidence and power, which is making me question my doubts. Their pathetic excuse of an alpha can definitely not be so brave and cowardly enough to attack like this. Besides, apart from you, they have attacked and wounded 3 of my border wolves. He explains, and I nod in understanding. Well then, Elizabeth, sounds perfect to clear out your suspicions, I say, and get up to leave. Xalvador quickly stops me, trapping me between him and the table. My heartbeat accelerates as he breathes near my ears. Although, Bella, it was really amusing to watch you get all jealous over her. He whispers in a sexy voice, and I can literally hear my heart thumping. I wasn't jealous. I managed to squeak and feel him smirking against my skin. Sure you weren't, sugar bun. He whispers again, pressing a kiss just below my ears. It shoots sensations through my body, and I clutch the table for support. He showers kisses downwards, towards my cheeks, my jaw, and then finally to my neck where he is supposed to mark me. I gasp as he presses my lips to my neck and his tongue lashes at my skin, sucking relentlessly. Xalvador, stop. I say weakly, but he doesn't budge. His hand creeps to my waist, pulling me tighter against him, and I grab his shoulder for balance. Please, stop. I say again, my voice just slightly firmer than before. He just grumbles incoherently and continues with his assault. I begin to lose my mind as sensation after sensation shoots through my body. I know if he keeps going like this, my resolve will break, and I can't let that happen. I push him away, breathless, and his eyes darken. I'm sorry. I whisper in between pants and quickly exit his room, only to realize later that Elizabeth caught my flustered self running. As I reach the stairs, my heart pounding, I take a glance back at the empty hall. Gosh, I must have made such a weird impression on Elizabeth. And I care because she is such a prominent figure in the entire werewolf community, and here I am, acting like a maniac in front of her. I sigh in frustration at my own and walk to my room when I hear voices. They are high-pitched and the tone is pained. I take a left turn and walk to the room where I hear the voices coming from. As I try to concentrate, I realize that I can't decipher the sound. It's almost like a foreign language. I turn in the lock and immediately look inside to feel shocked by what I see next. Peculiar air. I gasp as I see Maisie seated on the floor, her eyes closed and her nose bleeding. I run towards her and she snaps her eyes open. Maisie. Oh my God. What's wrong? I ask her as blood doesn't stop flowing out of her nose. I frantically look around the room and find a towel on a hanger. I grasp it quickly and dab it on her nose. There are tears in her eyes and she is panting a bit. I'll get some ice. I tell her, rushed, and start to go to the kitchen, but she stops me. Luna. No, wait. Please don't go. And please don't tell anyone about this. I'll be fine. I just need to be alone. she says, and I shake my head. No, Maisie, I am not going anywhere until I make sure you are fine. I say, Luna, please, just go. I am really fine. Please, she says sternly, and I realize that she doesn't want me to be here. For her tone is the most rude as I have heard her talking to me. Okay, Maisie. I am sorry. I didn't mean to intrude. I say in a low voice and leave the room, closing the door softly behind me. As I walk to my room, I feel a slight pang. I thought I would get along with Maisie, but now I see that is not really going to happen. I sigh and slump on Xalvador's bed. I just stare at the ceiling blankly and think about how much my life has changed. A few days before, I was free and didn't have to worry about anything except my own survival. But now I sigh as words fall short to complete my feelings. The freedom, the open forest, living to my free will, it was all so good. All that has changed so drastically. I wish I had never stepped into this pack's land. Being here makes me feel more alone than I ever was. I decide to brush my saddening thoughts and get up to go out for some muscles exercise. I sigh in relief as yet again I find the back of the house empty. I stretch in with practicing some defense moves. In the middle of my training session, I feel eyes on me. I look around to find nothing and shake my head. Now I'm being a paranoid too. Great. I wash my neck and face with water as I return from a vigorous 2 hours of training. Just then I see people gathering in the backyard of the house for hearing what Elizabeth has to say about the dead wolves that attacked me. I rush along and people instantly make way. I stand in front of the bodies kept in the cold frost as Elizabeth Xalvador arrive with the others. Xalvador stands beside me and Liam follows suit. Elizabeth opens the lid of the cold frost and bends down to sniff. Once, twice, thrice. Then she puts the lid back and walks towards us, a grim expression on her face. What did you smell? Xalvador asks curiously. This is strange, Alpha Xalvador. The smell on these wolves is, yes, of the Silver Falls pack. There is another confusing fusion of smell which I can't really make out. It's strange, astringent and different, she says, and everyone is confused, which includes me. Everyone waits for Xalvador's opinion, and he seems to be thinking, a frown on his lips. His lips, his oh so sensual lips. I feel like grabbing him right here and kiss him and feel the power that people say a mate bond has. Okay, stop. I don't feel like that. Fiona does. I could never want to kiss a person who kidnapped me. Even then, I can't help but stare mesmerized at him. His shapely forehead with a vein sticking out every time he thinks too hard. The flex of his taut jaw and his sexy stubble that he always has on. Catching my creepy stare, his eyes snap to mine. I don't exactly know my expression, but his eyes turn dark and he immediately conceals it by blinking. I look away, feeling hazy with the raging emotions due to the mate pull. Get a grip, Arabella. All eyes are on Xalvador as he begins speaking. I understand that this is a very strange event, but we cannot overlook the fact that Silverwoods was involved in the attack. That information alone is sufficient enough to teach them that no one messes with our pack. We will leave in an hour. Beta, get our warriors ready. He barks orders and Taxel nods. But what about the smell? It's a smell which means it is something from within the body of those wolves. It can be something dangerous. You can't neglect that these wolves smell to different scents. You are going to haste about this decision. I say, and I hear some gasps of surprise from the gathered crowd. Xalvador raises his head in thought and then shakes it. We will leave in an hour. He says and stomps away. Well, that was rude. I frown at his retreating back and walk to the arrogant Alpha's room. I stare out of the room window blankly, contemplating if I should go or not. Going to the Silver Woods sounds better than loitering aimlessly here. But then that would be involving in the pack's matter, which obviously shouldn't and doesn't as if you aren't involved enough. And even if I decide to go, Xalvador will not let me go with him. I don't really think he will let me near danger. Or you could run away. I glee at the idea and start thinking about how and where I can escape. You're right. My mate trusts me so much that he will leave me all alone here, granting me the freedom to do whatever I wish to. I smile sarcastically at my foolish thoughts. But wait. If he doesn't take me, he will probably put guards to make sure I don't go anywhere. I have to go. Or I'll die of boredom here. My suspicions are confirmed as I hear Xalvador are growling orders to some wolves in his office just as I near its door. You two outside her room. You two accompany her wherever she goes. And no matter what she says, she is not be allowed to step a foot outside the vicinity of the pack house. Is it clear? He orders, earning the wolves say a chorus of yes, and I enter cringing inwardly. Oh, about time, Bella. Since you have been so keen on running away from me in the past, these wolves will be your caretakers. He says, smirking slightly, and I frown. I look at the wolves and my eyes widen as I see 10 of them standing there submissively. Excuse me. I am just a single person. You do remember that, right? I shake my head in the anticipation of the future, just as I thought. And not to step outside the packhouse's land. So does he want me to die of inactivity? Xalvador, that's ridiculous. 10 wolves for guarding me alone. I'll be bored to death if I stay here within the threshold of this house. Well, consider this as a delayed and pending punishment. No, you can't do that. I promise I won't run. Just let me wander into the village and woods. I say, pleading tone in my voice. Too bad I don't trust you. He says flatly, and I resist my urge to punch his beautiful face. Fine. Then I'll come with you. I say decisively, folding my arms. Oh no, you won't. He immediately reiterates as if he already knew I was going to say that. Oh yes, I will. You will not come with me, Bella. Don't argue with me or I have my ways to force you. He says, glaring at me and his tone turning stern and final. Okay, time for plan B. Fine, I'll stay here if that is what you want. I say, and he nods gruffly, his lips smugly smirking. But then I'll make some friends since we will spend the whole day together. I say in fake enthusiasm and walk to the group of wolves. Hi, Arabella. I say, smiling broadly and offering my hand to the first wolf standing there. I notice Xalvador are steer with anger and jealousy and mentally high five myself. The wolf in front of me looks nervous, looking at my hand and Xalvador's expression. Oh, come on. We will be 24 hours together now. We need to know each other so we can have some fun and not die due to boredom. I say again in fake excitement and take the wolf's hand and shake it warmly. What's your name? I then question the second and he stutters, probably scared of the big bad wolf howling in silent rage behind me. Go, Joshua. Oh, what a great name, Joshua. I exclaim and jump startled as I hear a bang. I turn to see Xalvador's hand flat on his table, thus explaining the bang. Leave. He commands and I am confused, not knowing if the orders were for me. But my confusion is scattered as the 10 wolves immediately march outside, relieved to have escaped the wrath of their angry alpha. I look at him and he is breathing hard and he is fuming with jealousy and anger. He walks around his table to me and I gasp as grabs me by my waist and pulls me flushed against him. Stop flirting with the warrior wolves. He growls in a low, cold voice. I wasn't flirting. I was just being friendly. What else do you propose I do when I have to stay here for days in a confined space? I glare at him and his told on my waist tightens. Arabella, don't test my patience. Well then, stop testing mine. I am not your slave who follows everything you say without expressing my free will. I snap back. If I stay here, I will become friendly with other people. I continue and he huffs in frustration. Fine, you'll accompany me, but you will do as I say. If you defy me there, I won't hesitate to mark you. He threatened and my breath hitches. Okay, so he isn't as dumb as I thought. This was a smart card played. Or you could simply leave me here. Without the wolves, I smile sweetly. And give you a free way to run. No thanks. He states. I sigh and pull myself away from his hold. But he doesn't let me go and instead pulls me closer. I gasp as our bodies touch and an electric feeling dances through my veins. The marking threat got you, didn't it? He smirks as his lips trail on my neck. I wrench myself away from him and glare daggers at him. Stop doing that. I warn and he shrugs. Doing what? He feigns innocence and I shake my head. I'll leave his office, but not before catching his smug wink. As I reach Xalvador's room, I sigh and slump on the bed as I prepare for leaving. What are you? A thick, accented voice startles me and I turn around to see Elizabeth standing at the door with a scrutinizing gaze on me. I get up surprised. I am sorry, but I don't follow, ma'am. I say honestly. You are lying about something, she says. Though her statement is accusing, her tone is anything but. I am not lying about anything. I really don't know what you mean, I say confused. You confirmed earlier that you were a rogue, before you met Xalvador. Yet I smell a pack scent on you, she says, and I am bewildered. She has to be mistaken. I don't see how that is possible. I have lived in the forests without a pack my entire life. I explain. Arabella, she begins slowly. Do you know why I find it so peculiar to believe that you were a rogue before? She asks and I shake my head, because I smell a pack scent on you. And not just any pack, it's the pack smell of the dark moon. She says, her stare fixed at me as I stand there dumbfounded and speechless. This isn't possible. Special weapon THA, that's insane. I am sure I wasn't born in this pack. I say, shaking my head in wild confusion. Arabella, it's true that the dominant smell on you is of the forest since other places and of subtle yet primary scent, which is of this pack. Maybe that is because I've been staying here for a lot of days and so their smell is on me. I say awkwardly, yet I find this explanation quite valid. Apparently Elizabeth doesn't, and she laughs a forced laugh. A wolf doesn't acquire smells from its surroundings. A pack smell is a smell that a wolf is born with. It's present on a wolf right from the time it is in its mother's womb. She says emphatically, and I gulp, unable to accept this little piece of information. I don't understand, I say with a sigh, my mind going into whirls of confusion. I cannot be born in this pack. It's impossible, nor do I. Elizabeth says still behind me, and I try to recall all my memories from the past. But all that flashes in my mind are the memories of the day my grandmother was killed. I flinch inwardly as sadness overtakes my ability to think. I reminisce of the time when she hid me in a pit and got herself slaughtered. I wish I knew who did that to her, so that I could avenge her murder. When I look up, I find Elizabeth close behind her. I wipe my eyes and take a deep breath, trying to erase trace of sadness. The door clicks open and the big bad Alpha enters, his eyes scanning me. Elizabeth was just here. He states, hoping for an explanation. Yeah, she was just here to introduce. I lie, because I myself don't know what to believe right now. But is it even a possibility that I am a member of this pack? I don't really have many memories of my childhood. Just some occasional pictures of me and grandmother. You are her. The words of the old man we saw in the village ring in my ears. I mustn't go and see him. But right now is not the time. I will meet him as soon as we return. Now that I have to meet the old man and find about the meaning of his statement. I feel I shouldn't have been so insistent on going with. Sugar bun. Xalvador's voice snaps me out of my daze, and I look at him pointedly. Don't call me that, I say, and he shakes his head. Not happening. And we are getting late. Let's leave, he states, and I walk outside as he follows by my side. How much time will it take us to reach there? I ask as we near the main entrance. 4 to 5 days. The distance is huge. He answers as I smile at Liam, who waits with his small group of wolves. He smiles back, and Xalvador grunts, making us break the contact. What's with this guy and jealousy? Xalvador produces a map from his pocket and shows me the location of the Silver Woods. He tells me that we are heading to the southwest border, for which we need to leave from the west side of our pack. Alpha. Beta Axel comes up to us and questions. Xalvador nods and the beta growls. A huge unit of wolves splits onto sides, making way for us. Xalvador leads, ushering me to follow, and I comply. Beta Axel and Liam follow soon after with the rest of the pack. Who guards the pack house if we all leave? I question, and I'm surprised when Beta Axel answers. We have the high-ranked wolves on guard, Luna. And this time we also have Elizabeth, who insisted on guarding the house while we were away. I nod and look forward as Xalvador commands everyone to shift. You can shift, Sugar Bun. Your clothing later will be taken care of, he assures as I hear a chorus of thunderous cracks. I shift too, my clothes ripping apart, and we swiftly begin the journey. Xalvador is the fastest among the whole pack, and he runs forward furiously, just occasionally looking back for me. Being an elemental, I can at least match up to 75% of his overall speed. But I am behind nonetheless. We cross our pack boundary. Meadows, several land, valleys and rivers until night falls, and we approach an ice opening in the middle on a thick forest. Vampire deception. I Drake Mason and EY Gwet. As an undocumented changeling, I'm forced to code at a low-level wage. Did I just say our pack boundary? Oh my god. What is happening to me? Maybe it's because of the impact of Elizabeth's words on me. Get a grip, Arabella. As it gets late, he hauls the pack for rest. I go to the farthest tree I can find with my just-handed clothes in my mouth, and when I'm sure no one, and especially Xalvador, is not watching, I shift. I put on the sweatpants and a light blue shirt, pulling my hair into a pony. I walk towards the area where I see all the wolves stretching and resting. I squint my eyes close as my eyes fall on some who are still shifting and don't have any clothes on. Well, okay. To my left, I see Beta Axel and Liam laying on the grass, talking about something just like the rest of the pack. I notice all the men in the pack are shirtless, while the few number of women are decently dressed. A few. That's a good thing. Xalvador emerges then from behind a tree with just black-colored shorts around his waist, and I have to control myself from drooling over his toned upper body. Sugar Bun. Let's go sleep. His voice commands, and I walk farther with him, laying on the grass. He lays just beside me and encircles his arm around me. I immediately push him away, and he growls. We are in front of the entire pack. You seriously can't sleep like this right now. I admonish him. And why not? You are my mate, and this my pack, and I'm their alpha. What I do with my mate is purely my personal business. And besides, they should see that their alpha and Luna are together. That is exactly what I don't want them to see, because it's not the truth. I still hate you for holding me against my will, and I haven't and never will accept you as my mate. I retort. This forcefully puts his arm around me and scoots me closer, rendering no space at all while I writ to get away. If force is what it takes to keep you with me, I will force every action on you. But one thing you can embed in that mind of yours: you are mine, and no matter what you do or what happens, I will not let you leave. You are my mate, and you will be fucking just that. He growls firmly in my ear, shooting trembles in my entire body. No matter how much he makes me cringe, I cannot oppose the pull of the mate bond. It's just how female wolves are made. Power and dominance often attract us even more, which is really unfair. Don't you think? You should really consider your policy regarding women, Moon Goddess. I gulp as his words work as a drug, intoxicating my body in fear as well as sweet anticipation. I would like to see your try. I say as sternly as I can and distance myself away from him with all my strength, which results in very little success. Challenge accepted. He says, pulling me to him again with tremendous force and crushing me to him. I gaze into his smoldering eyes, which shine in determination. He leans in and my heart pumps like a hammer. I hate you. I whisper with venom in my voice and his hand tightens painfully on my back. I know and I don't care, he says and leans in towards my face. I quickly move my face to side so his lips land on my neck. Bad, very bad idea. The point where I'm supposed to be marked burns as Xalvador are plants just one hot kiss, leaving a part of me begging for more and another one growling in frustration. And besides, I have special weapons to use on my side, he says in a smug tone, caressing my neck in feather touches. My mind goes into overdrive as he overpowers my body over my mind, but I am not that weak. I punch him in his well-maintained torso with full force and he swallows a small groan, his eyes shooting daggers at me. Of course his pack can't know he was punched by his own mate. Though I feel smug, I keep my voice serious as I say my next words. Touch me again without permission, Mr. Alpha, and I'll burn you down and run away to freedom. Because you know, I have special weapons too. He grits his teeth in wild anger as I distance myself, glaring at him. Daring him to come closer, I move away from his hold, sleeping at a good distance away from him. Good luck, Mr. Alpha. New territories unedited. We walk for what feels like 3 days, after which we finally surround the southwest boundary of the Silverwoods. We stand at least a few kilometers away, split. Xalvador mind links everyone and immediately the pack divides into 4 neat small groups, headed by Xalvador, Liam, Beta Axel and the pack trainer, and running in directions to cover an area of a curve. The discipline this pack has is really remarkable. Not 1 foot of the warrior wolves is out of sync. Well, that is obvious, the fear of the wrath of the big bad alpha. I follows Avier as we steadily near the pack boundary. We find groups of 3 wolves standing together at a distance of every few centimeters. Xalvador growls and the entire pack moves at once. I follow Xalvador's lead, trying to stay as much as uniform I can with the others. As we attack aggressively, the Silverwoods find no chance at preparation. In seconds we have them crumpled on the floor, their heads off their bodies. It's a gruesome sight for me, for I have never seen this much of bloodshed before. But now is not time to hide in my own blanket of comfort. I was the one who decided to come here, so I guess I need to endure it. We enter the pack land, moving with the same ferocity, and the lack of knowledge of the attack of the Silverwoods benefits us. A huge wolf pounces on me as he smells I am a female, but I easily overpower him, biting it in the side. Xalvador is easily tackling 3 big wolves, and within minutes he has them crawling and wincing on the ground. Our side is almost on the victory when a Liam howls in pain. I snap my neck to him when another shrill howl comes from behind. I don't know what happens, but suddenly there are howls everywhere. I see around frantically to see a new army of wolves, but I am shocked to the core to see that they are moving unbelievably fast. They are 2, 3, or maybe many. I just can't make out anything. 1 second there he ran, the other they are gone, killing and attacking another wolf from our side. One of such super fast bites me into the neck, and I claw him on the side. He escapes and disappears, and suddenly, all I can hear is the wolves from our side groaning and howling in pain. Retreat, Xalvador, our mind links, and all of us scurry to move outside the pack border. Though this seems like running away, we really don't have a choice. None of us what is going on here. When we all land outside the pack boundary, I whimper as I see only 17 of us return. Even from those 15, more than half are bruised and hurt in a very savage manner. Xalvador's wolf approaches and takes in the scene, growling in frustration and loss. We all shift and get clothed. And the first thing I hear is woman wolf wailing loudly, straddling a dead wolf. My mate, no. Get up, Ross. You can't be dead. Get up. The cries woman cries uncontrollably, and I wince at her sorrow. She just lost her mate in front of her own eyes. She beats her chest with her fists as her cries turn louder. I run up to her and caress her back. Please calm down. You are very weak right now. I attempt. Not really good at consoling people. Especially when they have just lost their other half. He is gone, Luna. He died. He was killed. She wails as her body falls limp in my arms. We both are bleeding right now, but that doesn't hurt as much as this woman's pain. I tighten my arms around the woman and caress her arm to calm her down. Her cries don't stop until she faints. I panic and immediately a wolf comes running to us, offering her some water. The woman, whose name I learn is Mary, gains slight consciousness, but I can tell she is still terribly shaken. It's okay. Sleep, Mary. I'll take of you. I whisper soothingly as she gives into the fatigue and closes he rise again. I look up to see Xalvador taking the scene around him, his face set in a grim expression. Everyone is on the ground, some tending to their wounds and some to the wounds of the others. I sigh in relief as I spot Liam safe along with the pack trainer Marcel and Beta Axel. We will retreat. Xalvador commands gruffly, and it's clear to hear frustration and hurt in his voice. After a tiring and slower journey of 5 days, we return back to the pack house. The entire atmosphere is thick and tensed. There are whispers all over about the incident. I lay Mary gently on her bed and once again look at now lifeless body and face. She looks so broken. Is the mate bond that powerful? I sigh as I leave her room. I rush to the open grounds where Xalvador is discussing the entire incident with the other wolves. Almost the entire pack house has assembled, Elizabeth standing beside Xalvador. Alpha, something is not right, Elizabeth says, and Xalvador gives a curt no dies. We have lost so many warriors today. It's grieving. Another wolf from the crowd speaks. There are whispers and hushes as the crowd debates and discusses when a defiant voice speaks. Alpha, we think you were overconfident. You took this attack lightly because, as we see, until now, Silver Woods was a weak pack. A dark, muscular man speaks from behind, and many whisper in affirmation. Yes, you should have been cautious. We have lost our family because of your inefficiency to defend your pack. Another voice joins in. Xalvador stays silent as if in deep thought. How could you go let them die? You should have at least brought back their bodies. They deserve to be buried in the river because they died warriors. This time a woman speaks. It was really I respond, wait. I don't know what comes over me, but I just blurt out the word before thinking. The crowd parts as I walk ahead to address them properly. How can you just sit here and blame your own Alpha for the loss of his own wolves? If he had taken the attack lightly, he wouldn't have gone himself. The attack was planned. We were halfway in the pack land, but then the most bizarre thing happened, about which you already know of. Yet you are all accusing your Alpha. Can't you see himself is bruised badly? Leading a pack for a journey of days is not an easy job. He has not slept since for nights because he was up guarding the bruised warrior wolves. Do you not know how to acknowledge and respect the actions of the Alpha? We have lost someone and we are all in utter sorrow. But now is not the time to sit and blame. We need to find out what gave those wolves just speed and agility so as to kill so many of us so fast. Please, I request you all to understand the delicateness of the situation and help each other to investigate the matter. I say, maintaining eye contact with the crowd. One by one, the wolves lower their eyes and nod agreement. The woman from earlier speaks. I apologize, Alpha. I was so grieved by the death of my son that I rose to disrespect you. She says, and Xalvador shakes his head. I understand. I will avenge the death of your son and everybody's loss. You all have my word. He says and gets up, walking stiffly to his office. Xalvador, wait. I call out and run after him. You need to rest. Working right will not yield any good. You are exhausted. Take some sleep and that will help you to reach the root of his problem. I explain, gazing at his huge dark circles and his tired face. She is right, Alpha. You must rest. Tired mind does not bring any fruits. Elizabeth adds, and Xalvador nods. He walks to the room and Elizabeth motions me to follow him. He needs you right now, she mouths, and I head after him, taking a breath. As he lays down on the bed, I see his eyes lost somewhere in thought. I lay beside him, moving my hand on his eyelids so that they close. We will sort this out, Xalvador. Sleep for a while. I whisper and he sighs, his heartbeat getting even by every second. I close my eyes too, resting as his arm wraps around me, pulling me close. A light knock startles me and I immediately run to open the door, in order to not wake Xalvador. I am surprised to find Maisie standing outside, looking uneasy. Maisie, what's wrong? I whisper. Luna, I am sorry for my behavior earlier, but right now I must show you something. Please accompany me, she says in a rushed tone, and I'm left confused. Surprise, surprise, okay. Let's go, I say, and Maisie grabs my hands, ushering me to her room. We are just walking in the hallways when suddenly we hear a loud bang. There are voices of growls, howls, and bones cracking. I throw a small, worried glance at Maisie and then we both rush downstairs. Xalvador follows us in lightning speed and we all are shocked to see our wolves being shred apart near the gate. The silver woods and the black water. I can't believe they are allies. They are all over the place, biting and snapping at our wolves. My blood boils as I can the scene and see Beta Axel thrash to the floor, growling in pain. Maisie, go inside. Make sure other children and women are safe too. I command and she runs into safety. Xalvador lets out a thunderous growl and thrusts forward, shifting in midair. All the wolves look up and I go forward too, shifting and attacking aggressively. I pounce on a wolf and he claws my stomach. I bite his neck and within seconds his body falls limp. Two other wolves throw themselves at me and I wince as one bares his teeth on my arm. I growl and bite that one, kicking the other. I kill the wolf by snapping his neck and then run to the other. But sensing me already, the wolf lunges at me, trying to hurt my neck. I claw his stomach with as much as force I can and instead his trip gets tighter. We both fight for dominance but the pain in my neck rises. Suddenly he raises his body, howling in pain, and I find Liam behind him, scratching his back dangerously. I quickly bite his neck, pulling at his vein, and he falls limp on me. I throw him and attack several others, finding the situation finally getting in control. We will kill you all. There will be no traces of Dark Moon. Comes a voice from a distance, and we look up to see a man approaching us with another army of hundreds of wolves. The man shifts too when the wolves attack. Oh my God, we won't be able to resist them all right now. Our wolves are tired and unprepared. Thinking and making my decision quickly, I throw the wolf I'm tackling and run towards the main door. I go inside, shift back and put on a white, long shawl over me. I come outside to see the wolves rushing towards us with full force. I quickly close my eyes, raising my hand in determination. If I don't do this quickly, the fire will hurt my wolves too. My wolves. I can't lose my concentrate on right now, no. Before they enter the vicinity of the fight area, I must stop them in their tracks. I concentrate and thrust my hands towards the approaching army of wolves, raising a fire at their feet just before they can mingle with the others. They jump back in surprise and I squint my eyes, focusing harder. I raise the fire and make it go forwards, causing burns on the feet and knees of the first line of wolves. Xalvador growls in victory, and immediately our wolves conquer whatever were left in the fight area now that the others were under control. I walk forward, raising the fire higher and higher, feeling weaker as tremendous force is focused on my hands right now. The wolves are visibly terrified as they start to retreat. Xalvador's wolf growls and steps beside me. He then looks at the wolves and possibly mind links them. The conversation goes on for 5 minutes and I try my hardest to hold the fire's intensity. Just when I think I will lose control, the wolves retreat, turn back and run away. I sigh and drop my hands as my sire vanishes. Everyone shifts back and I clutch the shawl around me tighter. Luna, you saved us. Liam says excitedly and I stifle a laugh. Only he can be so enthusiastic in such a situation. There are whispers and people though don't speak. I can tell they're happy and maybe impressed. I'm proud of you, Xalvador says, causing butterflies and then orders for the dead bodies to be buried in for medical help. Everyone gets working. I follow Xalvador to put on some clothes. Arabella, a word? Elizabeth knocks at my door as I emerge from the bathroom. Yes, of course. Please come in, I say. She comes inside and gives me a weak smile. You are an elemental. She breathes and I smile weakly too, nodding. I wonder why Xalvador never told me. She says as we both take a seat. He must have forgotten. There was a lot going on when you came, you know. Yes, that's right. But I have to say, you saved our pack today. I don't think so. We all saved the pack. You must start saying our pack, she says in a motherly tone and I sigh. I am not sure, Elizabeth. I understand, Arabella. But what you did today was not the usual display of your powers. It was a basic instinct that came from within you. The need you felt to save the wolves was because you are this pack's member, she explains. I just can't answer because that makes the thought of freedom impossible. As if sensing my conflict, Elizabeth continues, tell me, Arabella. Didn't you feel a burning in your body when you saw your wolves growling in pain? I understand that adapting to the confines of a pack must be hard if you're spent all of your life free and independently. But don't you see, staying in this pack gives you a purpose. Not just something ordinary, but the duty of being a Luna. The moon had it all planned. She was just waiting for the right time. No wolf does what you did today for a pack they despise as you've seen you do, she says, and I look up in surprise. How do you? My voice trails off. How can she know that I hate staying in this pack? I am 76 years old, Arabella, and I am blessed with unnamed powers. I have experience beyond what you can imagine. I can read minds and faces. And right from the time I came to know you were a rogue, I couldn't believe it. That is why I observed you, when you trained, when you spoke. That all told me that you are facing an inner conflict. I just confirmed it today. She says, smiling that small I know and I understand it all smile. I fall into silence, her confession somewhat shaking me. You are right. I began with a breathe. About everything. A thing about feeling conflicted. The thing about feeling that strong urge today to defend. Our wolves. It's all correct and I just can't sort out what to do. I finish, frustration lacing my voice. My child, you need to accept the fact you were born in here, and that you are meant to be here. When you do that, trust me, things will be easy and you will no longer feel lost. Once you accept your position and your power, you will rise to become one of the greatest she-wolf in the history of werewolves. Because remember, once he finds her, an alpha is either stronger than ever or weaker than ever. You have to make the choice. It lays in your hands. She says, and with a small squeeze on my hand and another motherly look, leaves the room. I am lost in thoughts when I hear another knock. Luna, come with me now, Maisie asks, and I nod. Yes, Maisie, I'm sorry. I just forgot about your important thing. And also just please don't call me Luna. I say as I follow her to her room. I'll try, she says, turning back with a smile. I wonder what she wants to show me, and I wonder where Xalvador is. We enter her room and she shakes her head. Miss Arabella. Let's go to the lake, she says, and I turn my head to the side. Okay, I say, and we both walk to the lake. But Maisie, what is it that you want to show me? I ask, and she shakes her head again. This is not something I can explain. I need to show it to you, she says, and starts taking faster steps. We reach the lake and she looks at me, taking a deep breath. I wait patiently, motioning her to continue. She turns to the water and her hands shoot the side, palm facing downwards. She begins what seems like a chant, her words incoherent. I gasp softly as the water from the lake starts rising in the air. Just the water at the start of the lake rises, and that not too high, but it still rises. Wow, Maisie, you're an elemental too. You are the water elemental, oh my god. I say, mesmerized by the movement of water. My daze breaks when I hear her next words. No, Miss Arabella, I am not the water elemental, she says, dropping her hands with the water following. I look at her in question to explain, when she raises her hands again, chanting a different chant this time. This time, the scattered leaves on the ground rise. Thank you so much for joining me in this obsession with werewolves. I hope you've had a great time and can't wait to come back for more. Remember to subscribe, leave your comments, and share this passion with others. Until next time, keep being obsessed.